On the outskirts of Baghdad, the head of petrol distribution at this roadside stall is not more than 10 years old. Nonetheless, he still tries to command some authority. This child had to stop school and works to bring some money back to his unemployed mother. A little further down the road, competitors. One of them is not more than 6. All of these children come from a slum known as Al-Qarya, or the village in Arabic. And today its inhabitants are waiting for the one they call Father Christmas. Henrik is an Iraqi civil servant who spends much of his free time here. He helps families with little money to dissuade them from sending their children to the streets.
ايش قد عمرك؟
10.
10 وما تروح المدرسة مو؟
ايه.
تارك، زين شنو شغلك حبيبي؟
اشتغل بالقواطي.
وش قد تحصل تقريبا باليوم؟
لا 1000 لو 500. والله.
قليل كلش قليل.
Whether they are 6 or 13 years old, all of these children are working to try to escape poverty. Henrik doesn't blame them, but he worries. This work can be dangerous in Iraq.
There are kids that work to give the money for their parents. There's the other kind, and that's very dangerous. It's sort of mafia. It's a big net that even people with high levels are involved in things like this. Sometimes little girls, when they are 6, 7, 8, 9, they work in the jobs I said about. Maybe when she's 14 or 15, they could involve them into prostitution.
Parents, on the other hand, know these risks, but they say they have no choice. This mother of a family lost her husband 2 years ago. In Iraq's conservative society, men are expected to provide. Without her husband, she withdrew her young sons from school, and one of them has been collecting cans in the street to resell the steel.
He hurt himself just the other day. He cut his hand with the steel, so I had to take him to the hospital to get it stitched. I know he wants to go back to school, but I don't even have the money to buy him clothes or books. What am I supposed to do? I'm alone, and they're minors.
More than 1 million children were already working in Iraq before the pandemic. With the crisis caused by COVID, now there are even more. In Baghdad, the juvenile police is responsible for curbing the phenomenon. General Adnan Hamoud is one of the commanders.
The youth police must wander at night in suspicious places such as cafes, bars, and cinemas and search for young offenders, arrest them, and hand them over to their families in exchange for a personal commitment from their parents.
However, these operations remain limited. The brigade is made up of only 350 men and is sorely lacking in resources, according to this general.
There's lots that needs improving. Child labor is a major problem, but we don't have enough shelters to accommodate them. The Ministry of Labor has not built a single one since the 1980s. Something has to be done.
And he's right. This is the only government-managed shelter for orphan children in the whole of Iraq. The director, Ghaida, agreed to open the doors of the home to us. Officially, only 75 children can be accommodated here.
We are overloaded. We have around 93 kids here today. Where can I house them? I have to put the mattress on the floor and make them sleep there.
The home school has been closed since the start of the pandemic, but some activities, such as this music class, are still maintained. Something to make the children smile again, because many of them have suffered psychological trauma. Some have fallen into delinquency, like this 16-year-old who has just finished 2 years in prison.
In prison, there were a lot of us, maybe 65 in a room a little bigger than this. There was just a locked door with a little hole in the middle. They were beating us there, and we couldn't talk freely. Nothing like here. I feel good here.
When they come of age, these children and teenagers will no longer be allowed to stay. They then must fend for themselves without accompaniment or support from the authorities. A lack of a national strategy overburdens Ghaida and the others trying to help vulnerable children. And until the government makes it a priority, child labour will continue in Iraq.